Welcome back to the channel. My name is Zeze. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and picture your perfect retirement. Maybe you see a quiet beach house. Maybe you see yourself gardening in the backyard of the home you spent 30 years paying off. Oh, you see your grandkids running through the sprinklers. You feel safe. You feel secure. You feel like you finally made it across the finish line. And now I want you to open your eyes. I'm going to tell you a story that is going to shatter that image. But it is a story you need to hear. Because for millions of people, that dream doesn't end on a beach. It ends in a panic. It ends in a lawyer's office. It ends with you wondering where every single dollar went. We are going to talk about how you will lose everything at the very end of your retirement. And I don't mean you will run out of money when you are 95. I mean you will lose it when you are 75 or 80, right? When you're too old to go back to work. It is the silent crisis that nobody is talking about. Everyone talks about how to save for retirement. Nobody tells you how to survive it. Let me tell you about a couple I met recently. Let's call them Robert and Sarah. Robert was an engineer. Sarah was a school teacher. They did everything by the book. They saved 10% of their income for 40 years. They paid off their mortgage the day Robert turned 62. They had a nest egg of $1.2 million. That sounds like a lot of money, doesn't it? To most people, that sounds like set for life money. They thought so too. They retired with smiles on their faces. They took the cruise to Alaska. They bought a slightly nicer car. They helped their daughter with a down payment on her first house. They felt rich. Fast forward 12 years. Robert is 74. Sarah is 72. And they are broke. They are literally looking at selling the house they spent 30 years paying for just to pay for basic care. How did this happen? How do you burn through over $1 million without buying Ferraris or private jets? It happens slowly, and then it happens all at once. The first silent killer was inflation, but not the inflation you see on the news. Whoa, the news tells you inflation is 3% or 4%. Right, but the inflation for retirees is totally different. It is personal inflation. While the price of TVs and electronics might stay low, the price of the things old people need has skyrocketed. Property taxes went up, insurance premiums doubled. Services, like getting someone to mow the lawn because Robert's back gave out, tripled in cost. They budgeted for a world that existed in 2010. They are living in a world of 2025 prices. Whoa, their purchasing power was cut in half before they even realized it. But the real hammer dropped with healthcare. This is the trap that catches almost everyone. Robert and Sarah thought Medicare would cover everything. That is the biggest lie in the American retirement system. Medicare covers a lot, but it has massive gaps. It doesn't cover dental. It doesn't cover vision. It doesn't cover hearing aids. And most importantly, it does not cover long-term care. Robert had a stroke. It wasn't fatal, thank goodness. But he couldn't walk unassisted. He needed help bathing. He needed help eating. Sarah tried to do it herself. She destroyed her own health trying to lift a 200-pound man out of bed every morning. She threw out her back. Now they both needed help. Do you know what a home health aide costs? It costs about $30 an hour. If you need someone for just 8 hours a day, that is $240 a day. That is $7,000 a month. That is $84,000 a year. And that is after-tax money. To get $84,000 into your bank account, you might have to pull $100,000 out of your IRA because of taxes. Suddenly, their $1.2 million nest egg wasn't an investment anymore. It was a checking account that was draining by $10,000 every single month. They watched the balance drop. 1 million, 800,000, 600,000. Panic sets in. You stop eating out. You stop turning on the heat in the winter. You start cutting pills in half to make prescriptions last longer. You live in fear. And the stress makes your health worse, which costs even more money. But it is a death spiral. Now let's talk about the family trap. This is the emotional side of losing everything. Robert and Sarah had kids. Good kids. But the economy is hard for young people too. Their son lost his job. He went through a divorce. He needed a place to stay. He moved back in with mom and dad. He needed a little help with legal fees. He needed a car to get to interviews. As a parent, you cannot watch your child suffer. So you open the checkbook. You tell yourself it is a loan. But deep down, you know you will never see that money again. Retirees are losing billions of dollars supporting adult children. And I'm not saying you shouldn't help your family. But you have to understand the math. You're on a fixed income with a dwindling pile of cash. 2. Every dollar you give away is a dollar that cannot pay for your future nursing home. It sounds selfish, but the most selfless thing you can do is ensure you don't become a burden on your children later. By giving them money now, you are guaranteeing that you will have to live in their spare bedroom later when you are broke. It creates a cycle of poverty that destroys generational wealth. Robert and Sarah gave $50,000 here, $20,000 there. They paid for grandkids' private school tuition because the local schools were bad. It felt like the right thing to do. But it accelerated their bankruptcy by 5 years. Then there is the tax bomb. Nobody explains the tax torpedo until it hits you. You spend your whole life being told to put money in a 401k, defer the taxes, they say. You will be in a lower tax bracket when you retire, they say. That is often a lie. Think about it. If you save well and you have Social Security and maybe a small pension, and then you're forced to take required minimum distributions at age 73, your income might actually be higher than when you were working. And do you know what happens then? The government taxes up to 85% of your Social Security benefits. They hit you with IRMA surcharges on your Medicare premiums. So your Medicare costs go up because you withdrew your own money to pay for bills? It is a system rigged to claw back your savings. Robert pulled out extra money to fix the roof. That withdrawal pushed him into a higher tax bracket. That higher tax bracket made his Social Security taxable. It increased his Medicare premiums for the next year. The roof cost $10,000. But the total cost to his wealth was nearly $15,000 once the government took their cut. You are fighting a war on 3 fronts. You are fighting inflation. You are fighting healthcare costs. And you are fighting the tax code. And you're doing it all while your cognitive abilities are naturally declining. That is the scary part. You're trying to manage a complex financial empire at 80 years old. Oh, you are vulnerable. And that brings me to the wolves, the scammers, the predators. They know you have money. They know you are lonely. They know you are worried. I cannot tell you how many heartbreaking stories I hear about seniors losing everything to scams. And it is not just the Nigerian prince emails anymore. It is sophisticated. It is someone calling pretending to be your grandson in jail. It is a romance scammer who spends 2 years building a relationship with you online before asking for money. It is a financial advisor who churns your account to generate fees. When you are desperate for yield because savings accounts pay nothing, you take risks. You invest in that guaranteed high return fund. You trust the wrong person. And in the blink of an eye, 50% of your portfolio is gone. Robert didn't get scammed, but his neighbor did. His neighbor lost $300,000 to a gold coin scam. And once that money is gone, it is gone forever. There's no time to earn it back. You cannot go back to the factory floor. You cannot pick up extra shifts. The game is over. So why am I telling you all this gloom and doom? Why am I painting this terrifying picture? Because I want you to change your strategy before it is too late. The old rules of retirement are dead. The rule that said you can withdraw 4% of your portfolio every year and be safe is risky now. The rule that said bonds are safe is questionable. The idea that your expenses will go down in retirement is false. Your expenses change, they don't go down. You stop buying suits and commuting, but you start buying knees and hips and prescriptions. You need a new plan. You need to stop looking at your retirement account as a pile of money for fun. You need to look at it as an insurance company. You are the CEO of your own insurance company. Your job is not to maximize profits. Your job is to manage risk. You need to secure guaranteed income. Social Security is the best annuity you will ever own. Do not claim it early unless you absolutely have to. Maximize that guaranteed check because it is inflation protected. You need to have the hard conversations with your children now. Tell them, I love you, but the bank of mom and dad is closed. Tell them, I am saving this money so I don't have to move into your basement. They will respect you for it in the long run. You need to look at long-term care insurance, or at least have a plan for how to pay for it. Maybe that means downsizing your house now while you're healthy to free up cash. But don't wait until you fall down the stairs to decide the house is too big. Now sell it now. Move to the smaller place. Lock in the capital. Simplify your life. We have to stop pretending that retirement is a 30-year vacation. It is a 30-year battle to preserve your dignity. It is a battle against a system that is designed to extract every penny you saved. You worked too hard for that money to let it slip away in the last 5 years of your life. I want you to be the person who finishes strong. I want you to be the person who leaves a legacy, not a debt. But it requires a shift in mindset. It requires you to be defensive. It requires you to be a little bit selfish. It requires you to be vigilant. Look at your finances today. Look at them with brutal honesty. If you lost one of your incomes today, could you survive? If you needed a nurse tomorrow, how long would your money last? If the answer scares you, good. Use that fear. Make the changes now. Cut the expenses. Sell the toys. Protect the core. Because the end of retirement shouldn't be about losing everything. It should be about looking back and saying, I made it. I protected my family. I protected myself. I won. My name is Zeze. And I hope this woke you up. If this message hit home for you, please share it with someone you care about. We are in this together. Don't let the system win. Stay safe out there.